Welcome back to the channel, guys. Now you're probably here for one of two reasons. Either your truck died on the side of the road like mine did, or you're checking on me because you haven't seen a video from me in quite a while. So we are fine, the truck is not. We've got our fuel pump right here from O'Reilly's. We've got a nice precision fuel pump. Cost me about 200 doll hairs. And the truck is now currently stuck in the driveway. Right there. So I would like to do this inside the garage and not in the driveway, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Last time I got it started, we got it assisted with a hammer and that got it going. So I'm going to try that. If it doesn't work, I'm going to cut all of that out of the video and you'll just see me on the floor in a few seconds under the truck in the driveway. If you would like the full story about how this all went down and where it happened, I'll let you know a little bit later in the video. We'll check to see if we've got any battery. And then we'll give her a few taps and we'll see how that goes. Doesn't look good on the battery side. It started right up. No need for the hammer. Truck's inside, we're gonna put it up on jack stands and then I'll show you what the tank looks like. You know what, we can show you the trouble code while we're here. P0463, stored code, fuel level sensor circuit high, DTC. Severity 2 of 3. This fault may pose damage to components and should be repaired as soon as possible. And I would agree, it definitely needs a repair because it doesn't start every time. If you get this code, most likely your fuel pump has taken a crap. So here we are. Just remember, P0463. So we'll get this done, we'll reset the code, and hopefully it never comes back. At least for another, what are we at, 177,000 miles? Not bad on the first fuel pump. Holy macaroni. So fuel tank is going to be on the driver's side. You can see the band right there. That is the strap that we'll have to remove to get it loose. And we've got another strap here towards the front. It looks like they are just hooked in on this side. And we've got the actual bolts up here on this side. And we've got another one right there on the back. What is this? This little handle? That's nice. So we should be able to just come down on both of those and gain access. You know what? It's got a little bit of lube. Before we completely take this one out, we're gonna loosen up the front one about the same amount, and that should get us a couple inches of drop, so we can then go look at the top of it and see how much room we're actually working with here. Right there. Alright, we don't want it to fall down on us, so we're gonna loosen up that back jack and we're gonna put it in the center of the fuel tank itself. Oh, it's so dirty. Alright, we can see absolutely nothing. That did not make it any easier for us. I see what the guy was saying about moving the drive shaft out of the way. That would allow you to get your head in there. Here we are. So ideally, we disconnect everything before we drop the whole thing down. And it is so dirty. So I'm gonna go get some little baby screwdrivers and pliers. We're gonna disconnect this guy, pull the pin, pop this out. We've got our fuel line right here. We're gonna pop that out. And then I think this is all sending unit and emissions bullshit, but those all should pop out. I managed to get this little guy out of here, but it broke along the way. So that's gonna cause us a lot more pain. All right, we're gonna need more room. So for this little guy right here, all you have to do is pry the living piss out of it so you can get something in between it, which this guy should be ready to come out with this little thing poked out over here. Probably should have known everything was gonna want to break, but you know, whatever. Just want to pull on this thing. Oh, no, we broke it the rest of the way. Yeah, so far 2 broke the same way. Amazing. And you can see that last little bit holding it in there in a manner that won't allow it to come out. So that's awesome. It didn't matter if I took the pressure off or not, it still didn't want to pull. So can we cheat this thing? And that guy's been removed. It broke the same way the main one broke, and I got a feeling that's gonna be a theme for this job here. And then this back one is the same thing. Are we gonna have more luck on the back one? Probably not. I'd like to just push it through. Did you break too? I think you did. Wow, every single clip broke same exact way. Look at that. Broke same way. And I even pushed on the backside on this one. So we should be able to just pop that guy. I see you moving. And pull. Okay. I'm trying to glue them all back together. Alright, we're cooking, We got one more to remove here, the main one. And I'm gonna take all these clippy doos and put them somewhere safe. What if we cheese it? Yeah. That's all the cheese I need. Alright. We should be free. Everything other, yeah, we're gonna get gasolina everywhere, so let's jam that upwards. We should be free, other than the fuel neck. It is right there. Because most likely, it's not gonna cooperate. Yeah, okay. That's something we're moving. I'm gonna readjust the jack here in a second because this whole thing is gonna fall down on me. Get fuel everywhere. Let's see if we can just be sketchy and give it the wiggle. Beautiful. We're out. Okay, not too bad. We broke all the clips involved. Otherwise, not too much casualties. We'll get this out of here. We'll get it cleaned up, and I'll show you how to actually replace the fuel pump. Whew. Yeah, it would be much easier to do this whole job with the drive shaft removed, but I didn't want to do that. So we didn't do that. Now let's get this out of here. I forgot, dealing with fluid's annoying. If it doesn't stay level, it falls. Alright, we're gonna stop it right there. The carrying handle's a neat feature. So you can do this next part however you feel fitting, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tape up these holes, those guys, and then I'm gonna take the air compressor and I'm just gonna give it a nice blow and try to get all of the dirt and crud off of this thing, because there is a lot. And then that way when we go to remove the actual fuel pump right there in the center, we won't have all this dirt to fall into it. For my next trick, I will remove this with a screwdriver and a hammer. So there is little ridges here, or folds you would say, and there's open slots here. So this whole thing just needs to twist around a little bit. And to do that, you jam a screwdriver here, and you give it a whack. Ta-da! Wow, why did that jump up? It's kind of weird. Let's get a little bucket. Neat. Hopefully it's identical. We got a new gasket for it. O-ring. Well, that would have been a nice way to plug that hole. Oh yeah. This would be your fuel level sensor or your sending unit. And that is a neat design. It's a little bowl. How does it get in there? Oh, look at that. Now why did it pop up when I took it out? That was the weird part. That looks good. We're gonna take this little thing off of there, and we are identical. We got the right part. Sweet. And I would like to get some fuel out of the gas tank for the next part. Take our little seal. I got an idea. I don't know if this is what you would do, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut out a circle. I'm going to jam this screwdriver through it. And we're going to blow this sucker out. I like that. To make the rest of this easier, I'm going to attempt to pour gasoline into this gas jug. So there's a handle here. It's only a little over 5 gallons, so it's barely heavier than what that would be. So put one hand here, put one hand here. Alright, and then all the way.
Probably not the best idea that we did this in a garage.
You know what? Let's put the O-ring in there. Where'd that go? That's so weird. It's like under spring tension. And the same way we removed it, we will reinstall it. Just screwdriver, hammer, and we're gonna go this way. It's actually pretty neat. It's on springs. And the springs are on rails. I mean, technically, if you had a tank that wasn't as tall, it would still fit, and the sending unit would still send the same signal for fuel level because it just sits on the bottom, no matter how tall the top is. All right, I like that. Not too happy with the plastic clips, pretty happy with that. That's pretty cool. And now we just gotta slide it on in there. Such a lovely place to hang out. Now this sucker went on here like that. This sucker went on here like that. This sucker went on here like that. And we got this guy, which, do I have any of my pokey tools? I do. I poke this guy out without stabbing ourselves. Like that. Ah, there's the click. That's all I wanted to hear. Smash this guy back in there. That should be locked on. We'll go get all our clips we glued back together. We'll start with the one that we couldn't fix. Okay, and that is locked on there. Part of it went in, but we broke it in the process. One more idea. I'm gonna get some electrical tape so none of them back out, and we're gonna call it a day on that. I wouldn't do this for your truck, but this is my truck. And for good measure, we'll just do it on all of them. All right, as long as that clip doesn't back out, it'll stay exactly where it is, and it can't possibly back out now. So I'm comfortable That was free. It didn't cost me an hour to go to the auto parts store and back. That's locked in. How are we looking over here? Okay, we gotta go quite a bit up to be able to get that guy back on. So let's do that. Good. Everything reconnected over here. What I didn't show you is these straps have a little hook. Find the corresponding hole. And you're in. That's on it, so just back them back off. Get your strappy do. Get your 15 millimeter and go to town. Alright, let's put some fuel in it and see if it starts. Which, I mean, it drove in here, so hopefully I can drive it out. Am I forgetting anything? Now that we've got fuel in it, we're gonna cycle the key a whole bunch of times, and you should be able to hear the fuel pump kick on for a few seconds, and then turn off, kick on. And we're just gonna do that as many times as we need to get it primed, and then we'll give it a crank. And you'll know in the next couple seconds here if the fuel pump turns on, which means everything's gonna work. Oh, that's funny. I can see my light still flashing. How about I go get it? You're not gonna see much, but you should hear it cycle. You should have heard it cycle a few times. Now we're gonna give it the beans. That, my friends, sounds like success. Can we get out of here without hitting anything? No, we can't, because we have wheel chocks in the front, and I can hear them scraping. This was the part where I was going to show you how to clear the codes, but the codes are no longer there. No more check engine. Pretty freaking sweet, man. So for anybody that's stuck around this far, the full story on this was I didn't actually get stuck on the side of the road. The wife went with the baby to Walmart to go do some grocery shopping while I was at work. And I get a phone call saying the truck's not starting. And I was like, okay, that's not good. And Grandpa had to go pick up the wife and the baby and the groceries. And my truck sat at Walmart all day while I was at work. So about 5:30 I get off of work, we get to the truck in her Jeep, it's pitch black outside, it's freezing cold. So I check the ignition seems fine, everything cranks. I check spark, I got a plug off, I stuck a screwdriver in there, put it over a ground and watched it arc out. So boom, I know I got spark. So I'm not worried about compression. I know we got ignition, I know it's firing. So I'm thinking, what could it be? What could it be? Like, it's gotta be the fuel pump. So I pulled a fuel pump relay, do a little jumper to pop it over and over and over again to see if I can actually get the fuel pump to start. And I do that while I ask her if she hears anything, and she doesn't hear anything back there. So I put that all back together. The relay seems to be working fine. At that point, I was like, this is done. There's no way I'm gonna fix it. There's nothing more I can do to get this truck home. So she called a tow truck, and tow truck's like $265 to get you back home. And I'm like, $265? The fuel pump's gonna be like 200 bucks. I can't spend more for a tow truck than I am gonna do to actually fix it. So I was like, you know what? Let's pull out the YouTube. Get on YouTube, watch a whole video about a guy diagnosing his fuel pump, and I had done pretty much everything he had done. And the last thing he says on there is like, just like a starter, just take a hammer, give it a few whacks. And I'm like, you know, I've done that with a starter. I've done that quite a few times with starters, but I've never whacked on a fuel pump to get the fuel pump going. Needless to say, I got the truck home that night. I took this hammer right here, and you saw where the fuel pump is. There's no good way to access it, so I jam this thing in there like this, and I go whack, 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 whack. And I have her cycle it a few times, and I heard it turn on. She cycled it like 3 or 4 times. I heard it turn on every time. I was like, all right, babe, give it a crank. It's gonna start this time. Bam, started right up. We hopped in the truck, drove it home, parked it, and here we are now. So I'm gonna try to do a burnout right here, which you're not gonna see because I'm gonna just give it a little drive down the block, and we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for listening, guys. Hey, also, if you made it this far, a like and a sub would do great. We just got partnered